So I was gifted this beautiful cantaloupe at the farmer's market. It was from one of my farmer's market guys. Thanks, Mike. And I was thinking that I was going to cut into it, enjoy the cantaloupe itself, and then take out the seeds. So why not make a video? So firstly, I'm going to clear my area a little bit. Take my big ceramic knife. This is the guy that took off my finger a month ago. Luckily it's grown back really well, but I'm still a little cautious around knives, which is probably a good thing. So you're just going to do a cut down the center, splitting it open, and then get that knife as far away from me as possible. And now you have your, I mean everybody's seen this, inside of a cantaloupe. And I'm going to, because I forgot to bring a spoon over here, I'm going to fork out the pulpy inside. So I'm just going around and scraping down the seeds, and I'm going to throw those into my clear bowl, which I brought for you guys so you can see exactly what's happening. And I would say there's probably about 300 seeds in every melon, which is really insane if you think about having 300 viable children. Like, nature really prepared for the possibility that most of these would not make it. So with human intervention, I would say with 2 or 3 melons from the store or the farmer's market, you could have your own melon farm going by next year if you take good care of those seeds. So I got one of them done. I'm going to do the second. So just go around scraping out all the pulp and seeds. And I think that most of you have probably done this at home, but maybe the only difference is you weren't saving those seeds, you were dumping them in the compost, which is okay, but I always figure if you've got a ripe fruit, why not save the seeds? Why not make your own next year? See if you can get it to grow. If you can, wonderful. So I'm going to be eating and working at the same time. I am hungry, and I'm going to switch to my smaller knife, I think, so that I don't have any more accidents. I trust this one a little bit more. I trust myself with it. Melon is a fruit that you are supposed to not eat with other foods. And that is because it passes through your system in only about 20 minutes. And if you eat, let's say, a salad with it on the side, it's going to be stuck in your body while you're processing all that salad. So what you want is to eat it mono. You're just going to focus on one thing at a time, and that will be your melon. But I guess I wouldn't know any of that stuff because girls never use the bathroom, right? So here are my cubes, and I'm going to stop wasting time showing you how to cut it because you already know that. We're here for the seeds, not the fruit. Okay, so one thing to do though is to actually test out what you've just saved the seeds from, because if it's not that good a piece of fruit, maybe you don't want to bother with saving the seeds. So you should always try it, make sure it's a sweet, good variety, make sure you have a good candidate. You don't want the runt of all the cantaloupes, you want the good, like typical one that will produce better offspring. Darwin. Definitely worth it. So I'm going to take my bowl, and you can see that there's a lot of pulp, a lot of stuff that we're not going to want, but in there are a bunch of seeds. So I'm going to take these long strands that were holding the seeds, it's kind of like a spine, but a very soft one, and I'm going to just pull the seeds out and then discard this because this has no use to me anymore. I guess you could make a face lotion. I've heard cantaloupe is really good for the skin, but I'm just going to put it off to the side. Continue separating these. And yeah, I'm getting a lot of good seeds from these. I'd say in any given fruit you're going to have like maybe 30% non-viable seeds, and you can definitely tell the difference really quickly. First of all, a good seed is going to feel like there's something inside of it. If you give it a little bit of pressure, you're going to feel that there's actually something going on. And your non-viable seeds are usually lighter, and they're a lot thinner, and when you press on them, you realize that they're actually hollow. There's nothing in there. So the plant is giving you a fair amount of perfectly good seeds to grow, and then some of them just didn't quite ripen. And those ones will be discarded because there's no point in saving a seed if it's not going to grow a plant. So now we've got our cantaloupe juice and our cantaloupe seeds. And we are only interested in the seeds, remember. So they're all pretty separated out. I'm going to take my water and I'm going to pour it in. And this is a trick for separating even more pulp and also for figuring out which seeds are kind of wastes of space. So you let that sit for a minute, and I'd say I've got 10 of them floating to the surface now. And I'm just going to scoop those ones out, and sure enough, when you press on them, those are the hollow ones. That's why they're floating. So these are the bogus seeds. We don't want those. So I'm just going to scoop all of those, mix it up a little bit more, see if anything comes loose and floats to the top. And then the trickier part of all of this is now to take your viable seeds and actually get them to dry, because these are a bigger seed, and because they were in so much moisture, they're going to take about a week to dry. So I'm just going to scoop them out, put them on one of my reusable washcloths that is just perfect for this, and I'm going to take maybe 50 to 100 at a time, and I'm just going to rub them gently together, try to get all that moisture off, just as if you were drying your hair after a shower. And it should go pretty quickly because I did already rinse them just now, as you saw, and they're definitely not anywhere close to being dry. You can put them on a paper towel by the windowsill or maybe out in the sun for a few hours to dry them, but they will take a few days, so definitely check back in, rotate them, leave them so that they're not touching. If you leave a pile of seeds, it'll be like a pile of wet laundry and you will get mold and it will be gross. Nothing will grow from it. But if you spread them out and you're diligent about, turning them over every few days, checking on them at night. One way that you can tell that your seed is ready is these ones have some bend to them, and they just feel like they're really heavy. So as you dry them, you're going to start hearing a special noise that I look for, and that is the noise of them when they touch each other, and when you drop them, they start to make this kind of dry. It's hard to explain, maybe I can show you. Do you hear that? Just the fact that they are more dry when they touch each other. It's kind of a crinkly noise instead of a bleh noise. So I rinsed the rest of my seeds and I strained them, added them to the rest, patted them all down, put them on a nice dry washcloth in the windowsill for 4 days, and I turned them over, and each time I just spread them back into a single layer, letting them each get a lot of airflow. And now they are completely dry and ready to be put in the envelope. And I've got my seed storage container ready to go. I always write the date, where the seeds came from, what I'm expecting to get back. So I hope you learned a lot from this cantaloupe seed saving tutorial, and check back often. Let me know if you grow anything from your own fruit. I'd love to see it. Thanks.